Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here. Well, today I'm going to talk about water filters, my top choices for water filters. My first choice is going to be a reverse osmosis, and this is a picture of a reverse osmosis unit. It has 3 or 4, depending on the maker, filters. They all backflush, and it has a little storage area that goes under your sink. This is about 3 to 5 gallons, depending on the maker. And then it has a little spigot here. And this is a wonderful way to go. In Dubai, they take all the salt water and they reverse osmosis the water and make it into drinkable water. And LA, they do the same thing. And I think in Santa Barbara, they do the same thing. And many other places around the coastline are doing the same thing, taking salt water. All the cruise ships do this, every single one of them. It has a membrane, and the membrane actually is pushed under pressure with a piston, and the membrane is only big enough to let the H2O go through. That's all. It's a filter. It's not doing anything. It's not changing in the water or any way. It's just letting it drip through this filter under great pressure, actually. And from there, you end up with pure water, only H2O. In fact, I know kidney doctors that recommend just reverse osmosis water. Now you'll get those people who say, oh, it takes out all the trace minerals. Well, we'll do that too, but you get pure H2O, and I'm looking for pure H2O. I can take I take my chlorella anyway, or spirulina, and I take vitamins with trace minerals anyway, so what difference does it make? I want to make sure all those chemicals are out of there. And so I have the best water possible. And reverse osmosis, this wonderful little gadget here, which costs about $200. You can get them at Lowe's and Home Depot and any special store like that, the home store like that. And you can hook it up yourself, or you can get a plumber to hook it up for you for very little. And we have one for 8 years now, and it's still going strong. They backflush the filters, and so it never really, really needs much. We also, on the house, we have a big filter on the main line that comes into the house, and tell you, in 2 days that thing turns brown. We have pretty bad water here. So we have a filter that comes into the house, just a big filter. It just takes out all the particulate matter, and it goes to our main filter, the reverse osmosis. And like I said, they're about $200 for the reverse osmosis, and they do a fantastic job, and they'll last you for years and years and years. Our little spigot on the outside, it has a little drip on it now. We have to replace that, but that's the only thing that's needed to be replaced. I mean, cost effectively, this hands down works wonders. I mean, you can't beat the price. In the long run, it's going to save a lot. Also, take your water that you get and put it into glass, ceramic, or stainless steel bottles, and keep that. Plastic is a killer. It's up to 24,000 different chemicals in it, and that's really not good for the body. It's carcinogenic, and if you're in a pinch and you're somewhere and you're really hot and thirsty and you got to drink out of plastic, go ahead and drink out of plastic. But if you are at home and you have a choice, put your water into glass, ceramic, or stainless steel, and put it in the fridge so you have cold water, and you have wonderful water with your reverse osmosis. My second pick is this big thing, which I'm going to bring over here. This is a Berkey water filter setup. This is you can find these on Amazon and eBay. If I open this up on top, you'll see on the inside it has 2 big water filters there. In fact, they make them here and where we live, those water filters, and you can put up to 4 in here if you want it to filter faster. It takes about 20 minutes. This is a 2.25 gallon filter, and does an excellent job and takes out about 199 different toxic chemicals and heavy metals and all kinds of different things. And we've actually done a test where we take it down to the local river, which is one of them's really polluted, put it in there, and I tell you, had testing done on it. It was really totally great water. And so this is a great way to go. It has a spigot on the bottom. It has a spigot on the bottom, so you can, just put it into your glasses or whatever you want. And that's a great way to go because it's a gravity feed process. It just moves from the top tank to the bottom tank. You just put your water at the top and it flows into the bottom stainless steel tank. It's all stainless steel except for the filters itself. And Berkey makes a menagerie of different size filters like this, from huge, I mean, it looked like a big coffee urn, hold probably 8 to 10 gallons, on down to this 2.25 gallon one, which we use at home. Those filters last 6,000 gallons. Boy, that's a lot of water. And you know when the filters go bad because they quit filtering water, though no water will come through them. So all of a sudden you'll see, no, it's not working. So you have to go buy a couple filters. The filters run about $99 to $100, somewhere in there, and they last you a long, long time. That would be my second pick, especially if you don't have water pressure. And if something happens to your water pressure, that's why we have this one, because sometimes water pressure goes out here, and we want something that works, that really works well, and is a, we don't have to rely on the city for having water pressure. And that's really important. When we had the hurricane here, whatever, sometimes we didn't have any water pressure at all. Thank heavens for this Berkey water system. And Berkey's been around for years and years and years. And if you look on Amazon and eBay, you'll find a ton of them, and they work great. We went to a old hacienda, coffee hacienda here. They coffee growing plantation here. We've been there many times up in the mountains, and they have the big old plantation house where the family lived, and I was really enthralled with the filtration device they had. They had just a big piece of limestone, I mean a big piece, and then they have cut out a basin in it, and they would fill that with water they would get from the stream that was nearby, and the water would drip down through the limestone and down into a basin, a container down below it. It had a cabinet underneath, and so, dust and stuff wouldn't get in the water. So it would drip through the limestone and down into a container down below. And very interesting, but they had a ladle in that container, and the container ladle had little spikes on it, so you couldn't put it to your mouth. They didn't want it contaminating the water, anybody to do that. You could, ladle it out, put it in your container, and from there, you take it home and use it the way you want to use it. So very good, very simple. In some parts of the world, there's a simple way to make clean water, is to take a ceramic pot. It's any kind of ceramic pot that doesn't have any, nasty elements in it of any kind. And just use a red clay pot, and it's not been fired or anything. I mean, it's been fired, but it has not been coated or glazed or in any way. And put that in a 5-gallon bucket, and then put your water in the top in the ceramic clay pot, and it'll drip through. The thicker the clay pot, the better the filtration of the water. That is in a pinch when you need water and you don't have it. So it's good to have some big clay pots around that could fit right inside a 5-gallon bucket. That's a great way to go. Also, we use this one for camping. This is a great big filter. It has a thing on the bottom, and it has a filter on the inside, and this one uses a micropore filter on the outside. It has a filter on the inside, a micropore filter, and then it also has an iodine capsule on the inside of, so it actually kills bacteria too. And you fill this with water and then have a tube coming out the bottom here, and it will actually drip down. This is very slow. And when you fill this thing up, it holds about 3 gallons of water, and by the end of the day, 3 gallons of water. You get but it works really well. It's great for backpacking and things like that, especially if you have a home base and a bunch of people. And so, excuse me, one way to filter your water again, and there's also backpacking ceramic filters. These are little devices that you put one hose into, excuse me, the dirty water, and one hose into your container for the clean water, and you press down, and it pulls up water into the little pump device, and then forcefully pushes it through a ceramic filter, and it comes out the other side into your clean bucket. And you can take out that little ceramic filter and carefully clean that and brush it and clean it, and then put it back in every so often, and keep using it over and over and over again. It doesn't go bad. So that's another possible way to use it. Also, there are ceramic filters that you can buy using 2 buckets, and these cost about $50. They usually filter about, oh, excuse me, I wanted to say this one costs about $50 also. This backpackers. The filters for the ceramic filters with the pump technology, that's about $100, depending on where you buy them from. And there's another one. It's a ceramic filter which uses 2 buckets, 2 5-gallon buckets, one on top of the other. And at the bottom you get this round-looking, half-round-looking ceramic piece that attaches to the bottom of that first top bucket, and then you put water in it, it drips down into the second bucket, and you can put a spigot on the second bucket, and those go filter about almost 2,000 to 3,000 gallons of water, and they do a great job. And they're about $49 for every time you use about 2,000 to 3,000 gallons of water. So that's another possibility, and that's really great water also. There's a lot of different ceramic filters out there, and you can buy a myriad of different ones. I'd say my top choices for in-the-house use is reverse osmosis, and then take your chlorella or take your spirulina and get your trace minerals in there. Second top choice would be to get a Berkey water filter. They've been around for a long, long time. Other than that, get into a ceramic filter of some kind. That would work. And then there's, on down the line, I would get into a carbon filter. Some of the other, you see these pictures that you put the carbon filter in and they clean the water. Those work fine. They're expensive. You have to change them all the time. And the pictures are made of plastic. Not my favorite choice, that's for sure. I'd rather have stainless steel like a Berkey or ceramic of some kind. That would be great. Even they have double-decker ceramic filters that you can buy like on Amazon and eBay, and those work really well also. And they will take out the protozoa, the bacteria, and depending on the fineness of the clay itself, even up to viruses. And it's the same thing with the ceramic filters also. So think about what you would like to get in water filters. Now, when I was a kid, we never thought about having to buy water in bottles. Holy moly. I remember sometimes when the water went out, we lived in a big house in the middle of nowhere. We had an 18-room house, and it was an old farmhouse, and sometimes the pump would go out. So we'd go down to the farmer's pump just down the road, which is actually down at the end of the driveway, and the water would be so wonderful coming out of that pump, and we just fill up water, jugs of water and buckets of water, and take it home, and the water was absolutely pure. In those days, everything was great, but nowadays everything is polluted. Even where my mom lives in California, it's all agriculture land around the city, and they have all these fertilizers are in the water supply for the city now, so you really can't drink the water. So you can use it for, washing clothes and washing things and, in your yard and all that type of thing. But you can't really, they don't recommend drinking the water. So we live in kind of a toxic place right now, so we need to get as much pure water as possible. We are 70% pure water in our body. And so we need to have pure water to survive. And all enzymatic processes, which are 13 trillion processes happening every second, depend upon water. And so we got to drink a lot of water. And I recommend drinking, at least a half gallon of water a day. I drink a lot more than that. So it's important to drink water. Otherwise, you're going to end up with kidney problems, GI problems, fuzzy thinking. I mean, you're just going to feel dizzy and all kinds of problems. So everything hinges upon everything else. So the reverse osmosis, the Berkey water system, ceramic water systems, do-it-yourself, pots inside 5-gallon buckets, and on and on and on, and they're pretty inexpensive. So these are the best ways and inexpensive ways to get great water. And remember, if you'd like to subscribe, that's greatly appreciated. If you would like to get a hold of me, on my consultations are completely free, and I'd love to talk to you. All my contact information is down below, my phone number, my Skype, and my email address. Email is probably the best because, if we have a long conversation, you might not remember all of it. But my phone is there, and people do call me, and I love talking with you. And remember to call early because I go to bed at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So call me as early as possible. Also, if you would like to make a contribution, a donation, that is greatly, greatly appreciated. But most of all, remember, I love you.